July 19th, 11:06 p.m. MetLife Stadium. The trophy has just been lifted by Spain. The confetti is still falling, and somewhere inside that stadium, Gianni Infantino is already on his phone, not calling Spain, not calling Luis de la Fuente, not congratulating Ferran Torres or Lamine Yamal or Rodri. He is calling Claudio Tapia, the president of the Argentine Football Association, the man whose players had just assaulted the world champions on the pitch, whose midfielder had just received a red card after the final whistle, whose squad had just turned their backs on the trophy ceremony. That phone call happened, and what followed it is the most explosive scandal in football governance since Sepp Blatter was arrested in 2015. A secret letter, written the next morning, delivered to the Argentina Federation, praising their professionalism, while FIFA's own investigation into Argentina's violent conduct was already officially open. And then somebody leaked it, and the entire football world exploded. Welcome back to Robert's Football Talk. I am your host, and if you are new here, subscribe right now, because today we are going inside the most shocking story to come out of the 2026 World Cup. The secret letter, the midnight call, the exact words Infantino wrote that have social media in complete meltdown. The meeting between two men that nobody was supposed to know about, and the question that every football federation in the world is now asking in private. Is Gianni Infantino fit to run FIFA? Subscribe now. Zero coding. Pure thriller. Let us go. Part 1. The timeline. Every hour matters. Let me take you through the exact timeline, because in a story like this, every hour tells you something. July 19th, 10:11 p.m. Eastern Time. Final whistle. Spain 1, Argentina 0. Ferran Torres, 106th minute. July 19th, 10:13 p.m. Cameras capture Infantino's face. Shocked. Frozen. The expression of a man watching something go wrong, not the expression of a neutral guardian of the sport watching his tournament produce a worthy champion. July 19th, 10:15 p.m. to 10:45 p.m. Post-match brawl on the pitch. Paredes grabs Gavi, wrestles him to the ground. Molina swings at Rodri. Punches thrown. FIFA officials and coaching staff scrambling. July 19th, 10:47 p.m. FIFA releases an official statement. The FIFA Disciplinary Committee has appointed a disciplinary and ethics prosecutor to examine potential breaches of the code relating to the post-match events. Official investigation into Argentina, launched July 19th. Sometime after 11 p.m., Infantino makes contact with Claudio Tapia. The nature of that contact has not been officially confirmed, but what came the morning after tells you everything about what was said. July 20th, the morning after the final. Infantino writes the letter. Not a text, not a brief message, a formal letter on what was effectively FIFA presidential stationery, addressed to Claudio Tapia, Argentina Football Association president, the head of the federation whose players are currently under active FIFA investigation. And he writes it while that investigation is open, while his own disciplinary committee is reviewing footage of Argentine players assaulting Spanish players, while the petition calling for Argentina to be banned from future tournaments is already approaching 5 million signatures. He writes it anyway, and he sends it. Now I want to ask you something. If you were the president of the world's governing football body, and your own investigators had launched a probe the previous night into one team's violent conduct, would your first act the following morning be to write them a personal congratulations letter? Drop your honest answer in the comments right now. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk before we read what that letter actually said, because the words are the most damning part. Part 2. The letter. Every word analyzed, every word damning. Let me read you the key passages from Infantino's letter to Tapia. These have been verified by the Daily Mail, Sports Illustrated, Sport Bible, and GB News, multiple independent sources. Every word confirmed. He wrote, Dear Mr. President, yesterday, Sunday, July 19th, 2026, at the magnificent New York, New Jersey Stadium, Argentina won the silver medal of the FIFA World Cup 2026 after an exciting final against Spain. Stop there. Already something is wrong. Argentina did not win the silver medal. That phrasing implies they achieved something positive. They lost the World Cup final after their midfielder was sent off and their players assaulted the winners. That is not a silver medal victory. That is a defeat followed by violent conduct. He continued, I would like to reiterate my most sincere congratulations for this important new result for Argentine soccer. Most sincere congratulations for losing, while under investigation, from the man running the organization conducting the investigation. He continued, "The FIFA World Cup 2026 will remain in memory as an unforgettable celebration of football marked by spectacular matches, the eruption of new promises, the presence of the great figures of the sport, and the extraordinary atmosphere lived in stadiums full of fans. Generic. Fine. Diplomatic. Moving on." Then came the paragraph that broke the internet. He wrote, "The magnificent performance of the Alba Celeste also contributed decisively to making this edition an exceptional event that captivating millions of football enthusiasts around the world." Magnificent performance. Argentina had 2 shots in 120 minutes of a World Cup final. Their goalkeeper made 11 saves, a new record, because their outfield players could not defend without him performing a miracle every time Spain attacked. Enzo Fernandez got himself sent off for a reckless foul in the 93rd minute. And then their players attacked the winners after the final whistle. Infantino called that a magnificent performance. And then the most jarring line of all, the line that GB News said sits in extraordinary tension with FIFA's own active disciplinary probe. He wrote, "These victories are always the fruit of constant work, professionalism, and attention to detail, but also of passion, commitment, and love for this wonderful sport." Professionalism, his exact word. For the team currently under his own organization's investigation for offensive behavior and violations of the principles of fair play. Professionalism. That word is the one that made every football federation in Europe, every journalist covering this story, every fan of every team that faced Argentina at this World Cup stop and read the sentence again to make sure they had not misunderstood it. They had not misunderstood it. Infantino called Argentina's conduct at the 2026 World Cup professional, in a letter written while his own organization was investigating that same conduct. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk right now. Share this immediately. Because the story of how this letter became public is almost as explosive as the letter itself. Part 3. The leak. Who did it and why it changes everything. Here is the detail that turns this from a controversy into a full scandal. Infantino wrote a private letter, addressed personally to Tapia, sent directly to the Argentine Football Association. In the normal course of diplomatic correspondence between FIFA and a member association, this letter would stay private. Nobody outside the two parties would ever read it. But somebody at the Argentine Football Association published it. Not leaked it to a journalist in secret, published it, put it on the official Argentine Football Association website, made it publicly available for anyone to find and read and share. As Sport Bible reported, the letter was initially surfaced by Argentine media and subsequently verified by the Daily Mail. The Argentine Football Association chose to publish Infantino's private letter. They put it on their own website. They made it accessible. They wanted the world to see it. Why would they do that? Think about it carefully. The Argentine Football Association is currently under FIFA investigation. Their players assaulted opponents. They need that investigation to go away or produce minimal consequences. And they have in their possession a private letter from the FIFA president himself, praising their professionalism and sending them his most sincere congratulations. That letter is the most powerful piece of evidence the Argentine Football Association has that the man running the investigation is on their side. Publishing it tells the disciplinary committee and the ethics prosecutor and everyone else inside FIFA that the president has already written to them with warmth and friendship. Publishing it is Argentina saying, "Do you really think a serious punishment is coming when the president sent us this?" It is one of the most calculated pieces of institutional maneuvering in the history of football governance. And it worked. Because now the entire world is not talking about Argentina's punishment. The entire world is talking about Infantino. Now let me ask you something. By publishing Infantino's private letter, did the Argentine Football Association expose him deliberately to protect themselves from serious punishment? Or was it something else? Tell me your theory in the comments. I want to hear what the Roberts Football Talk community thinks happened here. Part 4. The secret meeting. What Infantino and Tapia discussed that nobody was supposed to know. Here is where the thriller element of this story goes to another level entirely. Infantino did not just write a letter. Reports from Argentine media confirmed that Infantino and Tapia had a private meeting in the days immediately following the World Cup final. A meeting that was not announced, not on FIFA's official schedule, not publicized to any media outlet, a secret meeting between the FIFA president and the head of the federation currently under his own organization's investigation. The timing of this meeting matters enormously. The FIFA Disciplinary Committee has appointed an investigator. That investigator is reviewing footage and evidence and building a case. And simultaneously, the president of the organization running that investigation is having private, unannounced meetings with the subject of the investigation. In any functioning governance structure, that meeting should not happen. It cannot happen. The moment it happens, the integrity of the investigation is compromised. Because one party to the investigation is in direct private contact with the head of the organization running it. And the head of the organization running it has already called their conduct professional in a letter. What was discussed in that meeting? Nobody outside those two men knows. There is no transcript. No recording, no official minutes. A private meeting between two people who both understood that what was said would never leave that room. But here is what we do know. In the days after that meeting, the Argentine Football Association published Infantino's letter on their official website. In the days after that meeting, Infantino went on social media and told critics of FIFA to meditate or pray. In the days after that meeting, the FIFA investigation has produced no public update and no indication of what punishment, if any, is being considered. Connect those dots. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk and share this video right now. Because part 5 is where the institutional response to all of this goes from bad to catastrophic for FIFA. Part 5. The global reaction, Norway, fair square, UEFA, the institutions that are fighting back. This is not just social media outrage, this is institutional. And the scale of the institutional response is what separates this from every previous Infantino controversy. Fair Square, a worldwide advocacy group, filed a formal 8-page complaint with FIFA's own ethics committee, documenting what they describe as a lack of impartiality from Infantino throughout the World Cup. The Cape Verde comment, the letter, the conduct at the final, all documented, all submitted to the committee, the Norwegian Football Association. Their chief, Lise Klaveness, confirmed they will also lodge a formal complaint with the FIFA Ethics Committee. Norway separately accusing FIFA of crossing a red line in relation to political interference in a transfer matter. 2 separate formal complaints from Norway to FIFA in the same period. UEFA, the European football governing body, described their relationship with FIFA as strained, accused FIFA of crossing a red line. UEFA, representing 55 of FIFA's 211 member associations, the most powerful regional confederation in world football, expressing institutional concern about FIFA's leadership. And social media. The petition calling for Argentina to be banned from future World Cups passed 23 million signatures. A clip titled FIFA President Gianni Infantino shocked reaction to Spain's goal, going viral with millions of views. Multiple versions of the letter analysis being shared across every platform. And then Infantino responded to all of it with his social media post, telling critics to spread love, not hate, and suggesting they meditate or pray or watch football instead. The man running the sport told 23 million people who signed a petition and the Norwegian FA and Fair Square and UEFA to meditate. That is the current state of FIFA governance. Part 6. The 4 questions nobody at FIFA will answer. Let me give you the 4 questions that the leaked letter and the secret meeting and Infantino's conduct throughout this tournament demand answers to. Not rhetorical questions, real institutional questions that the FIFA Ethics Committee, FIFA's Congress, and every member association has the right to ask directly. Question 1. Why did Infantino write a warmth-filled congratulations letter to the Argentine Football Association on the morning after the World Cup final, while his own organization's disciplinary committee had already opened a formal investigation into that association's players? Question 2. What was discussed in the private, unannounced meeting between Infantino and Claudio Tapia in the days following the World Cup final? Who else was present? Was any conversation about the ongoing disciplinary investigation part of that meeting? Question 3. Infantino praised Argentina's professionalism in his letter, while FIFA's investigation covered offensive behavior and violations of the principles of fair play. How does a FIFA president reconcile those 2 positions simultaneously? Question 4. Infantino wrote noticeably warmer and longer praise for Argentina, who lost, than he did for Spain, who won. Spain's official congratulations from Infantino was shorter, less personal, and contained less emotional language than the letter sent to the federation currently under his investigation. Why? These 4 questions have not been answered. FIFA has not published any response to the letter controversy beyond Infantino's meditate or pray social media post. No press conference. No official statement addressing the specific conflict of interest between the letter and the active investigation. No explanation of the secret meeting. The silence is the answer. And in football governance, as in all governance, silence on questions this specific means the answers are ones that cannot be given in public. Part 7. The honest verdict. What this means for the sport. Let me be direct. More direct than I have been at any point on this channel about any topic. Gianni Infantino wrote a private letter calling Argentina professional while his organization was investigating them for assaulting opponents. He had a private, unannounced meeting with the head of the federation under investigation. He told global critics of his conduct to meditate. His face went viral when the right team won. He said on camera that he suffered alongside Argentina during a World Cup match. He invited Messi's unqualified club to a FIFA competition. His refereeing appointment for the England-Argentina semifinal was a man whose teams involving Messi had never lost. Any single one of those things would raise serious questions about the fitness of a FIFA president to hold office neutrally. All of them together, connected, documented, verified by multiple mainstream outlets. Published by Daily Mail, Sports Illustrated, Sport Bible, GB News, and others. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is a pattern documented in the public record, and it belongs to the man who has told his critics to meditate. Football deserved a neutral guardian of its most important tournament. The players who competed deserved referees appointed without the shadow of a president who had already expressed who he wanted to win. The fans who watched deserved the confidence that what happened on the pitch was decided by football. They did not get that confidence. They got Gianni Infantino. The letter, the meeting, the face, the rant, the silence. And until the FIFA Ethics Committee or an independent body investigates all of it with full transparency and publishes its findings, the question of whether the 2026 World Cup was administered with the neutrality the sport deserves will remain open. That is the full breakdown, the timeline, the letter word by word, the leak and why Argentina published it deliberately, the secret meeting, the institutional rebellion, the 4 unanswered questions, and the honest verdict. 3 questions. Drop all 3 in the comments right now. First, should the FIFA Ethics Committee investigate Infantino's conduct throughout this entire World Cup, or will it be covered up? Second, do you think Argentina published Infantino's letter deliberately to protect themselves from serious punishment? Third, after everything documented in this video, do you believe the 2026 World Cup was administered neutrally by FIFA? Drop everything below. I read every single one. And this is the most important accountability conversation football has had in a decade. This has been Robert's Football Talk. Hit that like button as hard as you can. Share this with every football fan you know right now, because this story is bigger than football. It is about who runs the sport and whether they can be trusted. Subscribe if you are not already here. New videos every single week. I will see you in the next one.